If you're stuck feeling like a bit of a skinny fat potato and you're constantly finding yourself in that never-ending cycle between cutting and bulking, you're probably falling into the same old trap that a lot of blokes find themselves in. In this video, I'm going to tell you exactly what that trap is and how you're going to get yourself out of it. Especially if you're a chap no longer in your early 20s, you feel like you're spinning a lot of plates at the moment. Misses, kids, career, all that stuff that makes it harder for you to get lean, jacked and back in shape. Shall we get right to it? Right, so here's the trap, and I see it all the time. You look in the mirror, you notice the belly, you notice the love handles, and you think, right, it's time to sort my shit out. You start dieting, you're eating clean, training hard, a few weeks go by and you've lost 3, 4, 5 kilos. You're pretty good about yourself. You've got some momentum, belly's getting a little bit flatter. You're making some real progress, and then you catch yourself in the mirror and you go, hang on a minute, I feel a little bit flat, a little bit skinny. My chest, my arms, I feel like I need to put on a bit of size. So you stop the cut, even though you've only been dieting for 6 weeks, and you immediately flip to bulking up. But here's where this gets dangerous. A lot of chaps fall into this thing that I like to call is the lean bulk delusion. So you tell yourself, I'm going to do a little bit of a lean bulk, slow and controlled. The fact that I've still got, it'll convert into muscle, right? So here's what actually happens. Week 1 to 2 of your lean bulk, feeling pretty good, you keep things controlled, and you're just eating a little bit more. Week 3 to 4, you maybe feel a little bit impatient and you think, well, I need to fuel up, I need to eat more, right, to grow muscle, so I'll have a couple of extra takeaways. By the time you get to week 6, it's just a full-on dirty bulk, using it as an excuse to eat whatever you want. Takeaways, Deliveroos, pints on the weekend. You just lost any sort of control and structure that you had before. Before you know it, you're no longer lean bulking, you're just getting fat again. Like 3 months down the line, you've put on all the weight that you dropped in that mini cut to begin with, if not more, and you're left even more fat and frustrated starting from the beginning again. So that whole thing is what I like to call the premature shred trap. Here's why that trap is so dangerous. You're forever bouncing between losing a little bit of weight, feeling a little bit skinny, then you start to panic, and then you bulk too aggressively, and then you get fat, and then you panic again, so then you go back to cutting and you just flip-flop, constantly stopping and starting. 6 months, 12 months go by and you look exactly the fucking same. So ultimately, the main issue is that you quit your shred too early. So listen to this carefully. 99% of my clients who come on board my Accelerate program or my one-to-one coaching, they very soon realize that they need to drop an extra 5 to 10 kilos, sometimes even more than they initially believed they had to drop. I know that sounds mental, especially if you're like, oh, as soon as I lose a bit of weight, I start feeling too skinny. But that exact flip-flop panic is what's keeping you stuck. So the reality is, if you don't commit to getting properly lean first, you are going to stay in this premature shred trap, constantly stuck between cutting and bulking and never seeing any changes in the mirror. So ultimately, here's what you need to do. You need to stop fucking about with quick 4-6 week mini diets, and you need to commit to a full shred. Like lean until there is no excess layers on belly, love handles, etc., chest fat, your moves, that is bothering you. All of that is basically gone. Not just a quick cut until you feel just a little bit more comfortable in yourself. That's not enough. And that moment where you do worry that you've got a little bit too skinny, I know it sounds mad, but that's the point you probably need to get to. Here's why this actually works as a bit of an example, right? Let's say you weigh 85 kilos right now and you're feeling a little bit fat. Typically, in that sort of shred that you stop-start all the time, you drop 5 kilos and you get down to 80, right? And at that point, you feel a lot more comfortable in yourself. You feel a little bit better. Those like excess areas, those first few little areas have just sort of tidied up a bit. At that point, you're like, well, my arms and chest aren't getting any bigger, so I need to start bulking. So then you bulk back up. Problem is, it only takes a couple of months of that same old cycle for you to bulk straight back up to 85 kilos again. The reality is, a couple of months isn't enough time for proper muscle stimulus to build significant mass over that period of time. In order to get yourself more noticeably jacked, you need a full build season of like 7 to 9 months minimum. So dropping that initial 5 kilos that you tend to do all the time, it doesn't give you enough room to give you that full 7-9 months of growth without you panicking and quitting early. Now, let's say you committed to a little bit more of a complete shred. So that 85 kilos, instead of stopping at 80, you took it another 5 kilos down. So you shredded all the way down to 75. I guarantee it's still probably not enough, but it's significantly more than you usually do. So yeah, you might be feeling a little bit skinny, but you are 5 kilos leaner than that point where you just start to feel a little bit comfortable at. So to gain that 5 kilos, you can spend a full 6 to 9 months in a proper building phase, fueling up, gaining muscle at about half a kilo a month. But all that time you're building back up to that point where you felt comfortable at in the first place, you're not taking it in excess. You're not taking it to a point where you start feeling too fat. You can commit to it for much longer. And then by the time you get back up to that 80 kilo mark, you are much leaner than before and you're even more jacked. Because you've got a ton more muscle, and if you did the build phase correctly, you're only a little bit softer than that 75 kilo lean that you got down to. And that's an amount that can be peeled away in a very quick and easy 6 to 8 week shredding sprint. Let me show you a couple of examples of this, all right? So Ben here, for example, shredded down in his first sprint. Typically before, he would have started bulking at this point, but it's too soon. So I convinced him, no, we got to keep going. So we did one more shredding sprint and got to here, this point, all right? So from here, this gave him a huge 8-month approximately building window to grow into. Then by his summer holiday here, he was still lean, but he was noticeably more jacked. No longer feeling skinny or stuck between flip-flopping between cutting and bulking. Now Zach, same process. He wanted to quit the shred early. He was worried about getting more skinny, but we committed for another sprint with him as well. Got to this point here, which you can argue, to be honest, in my opinion, he still probably should have taken it a little bit further, but it was lean enough. So it was enough to give us that time for a full build season anyway, where he could grow without getting fat and out of control again. So then boom, much more jacked. Yes, a little bit softer, but he weighs the same here as he did at the very beginning, and you can see how different he looks between the two. And again, one quick mini shred and he can get real lean here if he wants to. Very much in control and very confident in the whole process at that point. Probably thinking, won't I lose a shit ton of muscle if I shred down that much? Not if you do 2 things right. Number 1, keeping your protein high. So if you keep it high enough, close to 2 grams per kilo of your lean target body weight. In this example, that 75 kilo target, double that, 150 grams a day. This protein, it's the building blocks to help you preserve muscle, and for some people even grow muscle while you're shredding down in that deficit. Big factor number 2 is that your training is intense and efficient enough. And this is where a lot of guys fuck it up, to be honest. They either do too much volume or they're too inconsistent in their weeks, or they're not training hard enough in their sessions. With my clients, I use the 2-set shred method, which is like 2 brutal working sets per exercise, taking it to complete failure, but it's only 35, 45 minutes in the gym. So it's a lot more effective for your time, and it is much more ideal when you're low on calories, low on energy, and you're shredding down. These 2 main things gives your body a reason to keep hold of that muscle while you're shredding down, and like I said, for some guys even growing muscle during this period. So if you are currently stuck in this premature shred trap, here's your action plan. Step 1, stop your half-ass bulk right now. Step 2, commit to that full shred. It's going to take at least 3 to 6 months, depending how much you got to lose. Step 3, keep going, keep committing until you get lean. Chances are, if you're not feeling pretty skinny by the end of it, you probably haven't taken it far enough. Step 4, then you build. You reverse diet out, up the calories, and slowly gain controllable weight and mass, half a kilo a month approximately. Do that for 7, 8, 9 months. You'll be back up to that comfortable weight, but way more jacked and much leaner than before. That's the system. That's how you escape the skinny fat trap for good. Now, this is very simple in theory. You all know that making this shit work around all those plates that you got spinning, long work hours, stressful career, demanding family time, misses to keep happy, kids to keep alive, all that shit that life likes to throw at us these days now that we're no longer spring chickens. If you want my help implementing this, if you want me to coach you through the full shred process, using these exact methods that I just talked about, I've got an 8-week shred sprint kickstart program called Accelerate, where you'll learn about the sprint method, that we actually use to complete your shred. The automatic diet method that I like to use with my clients, so you're not just having chicken salads and shakes, you're actually eating foods that you enjoy, but you're shredding up like clockwork basically. 2 set shred training principles, so fully tailored programs using those methods and principles for you. Also a complete 4-phase roadmap, so we'll map out the next 3, 6 and 12 months of your journey after that program as well. It's all coached through me personally, so I'm with you the whole step of the way. I only run it a few times a year because it is a ridiculously cheap price, to be honest. It's a great kickstart for your journey. It's a real sort of dip your toe in coaching experience. Very, very affordable for pretty much everyone. Anyway, if you'd like to know more about that, I'll leave the link in the description below. If it looks like a bit of you, you can put your name on the waiting list for the next time that the intake opens up, which when I'm recording this video right now is in like a month-ish. And I'll also leave a couple of videos here somewhere that you can click on. You can learn a little bit more about the methods that I take you through on my program in these YouTube videos that I've already done. In the meantime, stop falling into the premature shred trap, commit to the shred fully, then you can start building, get lean and jacked forever. Talk to you later.